do that.
Thanks for watching. And of course, subscribe.
And hello and welcome to Haunting Live podcast. We have reached episode number 3 of season 2. Hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend. And as you can see, we do have a special guest here with us. We have Lizanne Blais. So thank you, Lizanne, for joining us here today. Yes, thank you so much for joining us here today. It's wonderful to have you here on Haunting Live podcast.
Exciting stuff.
Yes, so you're a psychic medium, and that's what we're going to be mostly talking about here today on the episode. But you have a bunch of other things, too, that you mentioned to me that you're into, so we're also going to touch on a bunch of other topics, some stuff that we actually haven't talked yet here about on Haunting Live, so that's going to be really interesting. But thank you so much for taking the time out today to join us here. I appreciate that. So first of all, and foremost, you're a psychic medium, so tell us a little bit about how you got involved in that psychic medium work.
I kind of, I guess it found me when I was very young. I was about 10 years old. My grandfather had just crossed over, and I was sleeping with my aunt in the bed with her. She was my aunt. She felt like a sister because she was about a year older than me. So, and he tried to wake her up. So he kind of like was shaking her and saying, it was French, but he was saying, "Wake up, Lynn, wake up." And she wouldn't wake up. And then I looked at him and I screamed because I just went to his funeral, and he looked back at me, and then I ran into my mom's room and I told my parents what was going on, and they're like, no, you didn't see that. It's all your imagination, which is normal when you're a kid, right? They tell you that's not normal. You're not supposed to be seeing this. So that was the first time. And then a couple times, like I've been into, the church in Montreal, L'Oratoire Saint-Joseph, the big church on a mountain. We went to a tour, and I was, again, I think maybe 12 years old, and I looked into this hallway and this thing just ran right through me, and I felt it, and I told my family, and they thought I was nuts because I was always seeing ghosts all over the place. But it just like became a normal thing to me that I used to just see them and nobody else did. And I would always be with people and they'd tell me, "I don't know what you're talking about." But for some reason, I could always see them. So it's something that I just kind of I connected with, and I realized that it's just there. So I have a big French Canadian family. Every time somebody crosses over, they have to come and see me. So they usually come into my dreams, and they tell me the messages that I have to say for the rest of the family. And it's always such random stuff that there's no way I should even know about these things. And I think it's because they want to tell them, and they want them to figure out that it's actually real. So, as soon as I tell them the story or tell them the message that has to be done, the tears start going, and it's like they've finally accepted, okay, they've made it on the other side. I know that message was for me. So it's kind of been like I'm the family psychic, I guess, or the family medium. I'm the one that tells everybody what was said. And yeah, I've been doing it ever since I was little, but I've been doing it professionally now. The medium part, professionally about 2-3 years. The tarot and doing psychic readings, knowing the future, 20 years. Yeah, been a while.
Yeah, so as a child, was it really open in your family? Since you had a large family, you mentioned, were they really open to receiving that information when you were giving it to them?
Well, no, because at first, being a Catholic, they don't want to believe in any of that stuff, and it doesn't make any sense. I think it's a lot more open now. I find in the past, like 10-15 years, it's more accepted, so people are okay. And there's many of my cousins or family that do have the gift as well, but everybody kind of suppresses it until it's become more of an open thing now. People are okay with it. So some of them still think I'm crazy, but it's not my fault. They come to me when somebody dies though, so obviously it works.
Do you get that now nowadays? Like, now that you're more into it and things are more open in the public these days and more people are accepting of it, do you find that they are more accepting of it? Like you just said, they come to you more often now.
Yes, exactly. And and to some people, it's like I don't even mention it to them. Like if they want to talk to me about it, that's fine. I've got my crazy aunt who they say she's cracked and she's awesome, but she's also a witch and she does Reiki, and she kind of opened me up to all that stuff too. So it's not crazy, but that's what they would call us because we're we're the ones that are tuned in, you know. But now I think it's just like a common thing. Everybody is tapping into their own psychic abilities. You know, we all have it. It's just some people are afraid of it, so they kind of repress it. You know, they put it away. So yeah, if you got it, you got it. That's for sure.
Yeah, they
You
do
can't
for
avoid it
sure.
anymore.
Yeah, they do for sure. Like a lot of people have that sense, but they don't know really what to do with it. Is that part of what you do with your clients as well from day to day? Do you kind of teach them and guide
Yeah.
them as well?
Yes, I have a lot of people that come in and they know it, they dabble into it, they're into it, they're always watching it on YouTube or tarot readings, and they know that they want to do it, so they start doing the classes with me. And I find the best way for people to open up is when they do either, you know, the hypnotherapy or past life regression. It kind of opens them up spiritually to just getting in there. It's like once you're in tune, it doesn't stop, it just keeps coming in. So it's fun to you know, like when I do readings, you talk to people sometimes, it's always, oh, you know, when am I going to meet my guy, or is my guy cheating on me, or do I want to get, you know, they're always a relationship. But then 1 out of 10 people are the ones that are like super spiritual and amazing, and they just want to grow, and they just want to find this way to get it to that next level. You know, it's like, oh, I feel like I have a calling, but I don't know what to do, but I know I need to use this passion that I have. And that's the people that I really love to connect with. You know, like obviously I'll tell people about their career and what's going on, and boyfriend, girlfriend, and all that stuff. But it's really cool when you get to see somebody open up to that next level, because they've been waiting for somebody to tell them, yes, you have that gift and you got to do it now. Like, let's get going here. You know, we're in the age of Aquarius. Things are changing now. Things are becoming more open. You know, I've got a 19-year-old boy, and he is like, he's unbelievable. He's so psychic. Like, I tell him all the time, you're sensitive, but you know, he doesn't want to hear that from his mom. But he tells me like all of his girlfriends and all the girls of that generation are so into this stuff. Like, it's a different time now, you know, like where me 20 years ago, it was like, oh my God, that's so weird. You're the weird one in the family because you do readings and you know how to, you know, talk to the other side. Now everybody's into it. Like, it's so, like the younger generations still, you know, some of our parents, not so much, but the young generation, it's really cool that they're just all, they're into it. You know, they buy the crystals, they're into the, like the healing and the Reiki and going for tarot readings. And yeah, it's like they're going to be following us with no issues. Nobody's going to tell them they're nuts.
No, for sure. I think that is true. A lot of people these days are getting more and more into the subject. How was it when you first started into it back in the day? Like you mentioned, you've been into it for quite a while now. So, how was it
Yeah.
back then for you physically getting into it and developing your own sense of ability?
Well, when I started really getting into it and started accepting it myself is when I moved to California. So like they're probably about 20 years ahead of us when it comes to anything, right? Um, and I met Shirley MacLaine, and she's totally into all of this stuff. Like she blows my mind. But she started telling me about the Buddha tree or the Bodha tree. It's a bookstore there, but they do readings, and there's all these different places, and I didn't know any of this, and I just kind of connected a lot more. And then I met my ex-husband, and his dad had just passed the year before, so I never actually got to meet his dad. But I really connected with his dad, so I had to tell him all this information. There was like a forgiveness thing between dad and son that wasn't, you know, it wasn't super positive, so it had to like make peace. So it's like I kind of like, it just, I don't know if it's because the energy there is a little bit wider and people are just more open to it. It just kind of started all happening. I was working for a corporation at the time, and I just kind of decided I want to open one of these bookstores or do like a yoga studio or metaphysical store, you know? And that was, like, I'd say about 20 years ago now. And we opened it up and I got some training on it. And a lot of really cool psychics came in and they showed me how to do a lot of different things. I did some past life regression, meditations, and you get into it because everybody, you know, all the hippies are around you and they're all into it too. So it really, it opened me up like on another level. Because here, especially being in Toronto, you know, it's a very busy lifestyle and everybody's work, 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 no time for anything. And over there, it was more, you're by the beach, there's like a different energy, and a lot of people are into the spiritual thing. So just kind of opened me up. Maybe it was all the yoga, maybe, I don't know what it is. It just kind of opened me to what my calling was. So yeah.
Do you find a difference now that you're moved away from that area and you're in Canada now compared to the US, even that there's a different acceptance of the field?
I think now we're kind of at that same level where California was. So I find that there's a lot of people here that are going through that path. And like I said, a younger generation of people, you know, that are more everybody's kind of opening up to it. And also I think it has a lot to do like with what's going on, you know, like we used to be in a Taurus time where people were into work and manufacturing, and that was 200 years of that. Now we're going into Aquarius times, which just happened this year. I'm sure if you're into all of this, and it's like a very airy spiritual kind of way. And I find that people like the younger generation, they're following, you know. So I don't think it's just a California thing anymore. I think it's all over the place. And I think it's, you know, the John Edwards or all, you know, the mediums on TV, they're the ones that kind of opened it up for everyone. So that it's more a normal thing. You know, like Shirley MacLaine back in her day was doing this, and they, you know, gave her a hard time about it. But she, you know, she knew that it was like the next thing that was coming up. She was just one of those people that, you know, she wrote a bunch of books on it. So yeah, she was one of the first ones, I guess.
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well, because I think a lot of people that are on TV have a huge influence on people that watch them. So I think it draws that out a lot more for people these days, that they're more aware of things, they're
Absolutely.
more open to things. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What other
Yeah.
areas
Funny
did you
thing.
get, sorry, what other areas
Sorry.
did you get into besides the second medium? I know you do a little bit of tarot reading as well, so want to talk about that for a little bit next? Sort of how you developed your
Yeah.
tarot and what you do with tarot, what decks you like to use, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the original tarot deck, so the rider deck. But I do use a little bit of uh, angel cards, you know, and love cards. Just showing so you could kind of see. But I like the tarot deck. For some reason, it just calls out to me, and it usually, like, I'm a visual person, so the symbols that I get, the stuff that I get, it's different every time. But that card will pop out something that has a meaning on it at that moment. So when I started in California, I was just doing it a lot for fun, you know, parties, friends, and it's something you develop, you get better and better at, of course. But once I moved to Florida eventually, and I was there for about 12 years. And there's actually a whole community over there that's very, very spiritual. And Casadega, it's called. And people live there, and it's like a hippie town. There's one haunted castle or a haunted hotel, and then there's all these people that just live on that commune, like I guess it's a reserve or whatever you want to call it, and they just do readings there. So it's like everywhere I was going, it was kind of bringing me to those areas of people that wanted to help me grow and get to another level, you know. But I've always really felt comfortable with the tarot, and that's what I've been using. And I have, you know, angel cards that I work with, because some people are afraid of tarot. They think that it's you know, negative or what, and it's all about light. If you have light energy, or if you work with light, you're not going down a negative path, you know. So, and even, you know, when it comes to being a medium and with ghosts and spirits, and it's all about having, like, knowing that they can't do anything to you, you know, like it's about having that white light, that energy to protect yourself, and then kind of moving forward with that. So yeah, so usually I just get the messages from, I guess I would call it, above, and they tell me what needs to be said and what goes through. So yeah, but the picture usually helps people as well. So showing them the card and explaining what it all means kind of helps them remember, you know, because you remember through not just hearing but also looking. So yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely that as well. I know here at Haunting Live Podcast, we also do reading nights as well sometimes. And
Okay.
my partner, he also does the tarot decks as well, and he prefers the angels and ancestries cards. So he does more of the angel cards as opposed to the tarot cards as well. So,
Yeah, it depends what you connect with. Like that, I like, there's some tarot that has like it's the tarot, but it's just different art. So it just depends on what you're connecting with. But I always find, like I said, every card has a different message, you know, and every time you put it down, it's for a different person. So it kind of, things pop out that need to be said at that moment to that person. So yeah, kind of
yeah.
helps people on their path. You know, a lot of people just get a little lost or confused. And like I said, sometimes it's great to just do a reading on somebody who wants to know about their career, or their boyfriend, or if they're going to get married, or when they're going to, you know, when they're going to have babies and all that. But it's really fun to actually talk to people that are just, they're opening up, and you could see it, you know, and they just want to get to that next level.
How many people come in compared to, as a ratio, say, that want to come in just for general reading like that, compared to somebody that is more of a client side of things that you want to teach? Do you find more people are coming in nowadays that want to be taught that kind of stuff?
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know if it's just because right now this is my calling. So I'm kind of wanting to help people get to that next level. So I don't know if that's why I'm getting, like, I would say maybe out of 10, between 1 and 2 out of 10 are coming in and going, I don't know why. I'm, you know, I'm a teacher, but now I want to be a medium, or I want to help people grow. And I know I could use my abilities. And that's when we kind of dabble in and try to figure out how we could get them to that next level. Because I find a lot of people do need that help. And, you know, it's not about corporate world anymore. Obviously, we've all been stuck at home for a year, right? Something's happening. There's this crazy shift that's happening. And for some people, they can't handle being on their own, but there's a lot of people that have grown and really opened up throughout this. And like, I talk to people from all over the world, you know, England, UK, the Australia, like all these different places. And once in a while, you'll talk to somebody that's like writing this amazing book, or they just started getting creative, and they're gonna have a symphony suit. Like, there's just all these like really artistic or amazing people that are kind of like really connecting right now to their self, because we have absolutely no choice, right? And the no choice is actually getting you on a higher level, which is it's how it used to be, you know, where we could actually just sit down, relax, and not always be watching TV or on the computer, or do, you know, and really connecting to who we are and where we're supposed to go in life. So it's been a trip. Like, I love talking to people that are just on a whole other wavelength, and you could tell it's because they've been stuck in the house for a year. So there is some good that's going to come out of this. Like, imagine all the movies and the music and the artwork that's going to come out of this whole pandemic. You know, it's going to bring us to a whole other level.
No, I fully agree with that as well. And I think too that people are at home now, like you say, a lot more during this time. They're learning a lot more about themselves. They're experiencing a lot of different new things that they haven't experienced before. Plus, also, I think they're going to be on a more heightened level. Like you said, they're going to be on a higher vibration. They're going to be sensing
Yeah.
more things that they haven't sensed before as well, like spirit energy too. So, like, they're going to be sensing things, maybe seeing spirits or sensing spirits in their own home that they haven't done before. So, what would you say to people that are having experiences like that right now? What kind of guidance would you give somebody like that?
Connecting to spirit. Well, I think that I honestly think if you're a medium, it's something that you've had, like you had that gift as you were, you know, a child. And they always have, you know, people have stories about when it happened or when they saw. Um, I think that a lot of people are connecting a lot more when they're outside in nature. And I feel like, because if you're stuck in your house for so long, like, I think it's better to actually be out there and connecting with the world, because there's so much going on in a house, right? We've got all these electronics and we've got all kinds of stuff going on. But I, if somebody's actually telling you they've just started connecting, it's usually because they've been doing it for a long time. They're just kind of accepting it now, you know, and they have more time to think, they have more time to feel what's going on, and that energy just comes through. And I say it's a good thing. Like, vibrations are changing right now. People are changing, and they're all connecting to spirit very quickly. And they just need to take a class and kind of get to that next level, not be afraid of it. Because that's what people do. They kind of, your mind doubts what you're thinking or what you're, and if you just stop for a minute and realize that, no, that the reason why you thought about Sally right now is because you have to give Sally a call because she really needs you, but she's, you know, there's certain things that we know in our gut that that's what it is, or that we're connecting to a spirit, or you see something, but you just got to stop training yourself to not think that it was right. If that makes any sense, you know, like, it's people already, they talk themselves out of everything. Like, no, I didn't see that, because that's what your parents told you to do, you know. But it's just about connecting and just getting to that next level. And when you talk to somebody that's actually been through it, then you realize you're not going crazy. You're actually just opening up. And once you're opening up, it's amazing where you could go with it. So
Yeah, no, totally agree. And that's totally weird that you just mentioned that name, Sally. We just have our friend that also does streaming podcast, and she's also a medium and psychic over close to us here. And
okay.
her name is Sally, and she just got into an accident actually over the past day or so, and she's in the hospital. So we want to send out some healing to her as well today. And
Oh,
it's funny that you
absolutely.
mentioned that name, Sally, because that's her name. So
Sally, we get it. We hear you.
yes. So
Yeah, no, it's never a coincidence. That's what I
no.
always feel like. Whatever is happening, it is never a coincidence. Yeah, it's kind of a trip. Like, I met with people. I have a girlfriend that lives upstairs. I'm in an apartment complex, and I have a girlfriend that lives upstairs. And oh, sorry about that. And she had a dinner party and had a couple friends over, and of course, you know, oh great, you're a psychic, let me make some appointments. So then they all, and I had to connect with one of the daughters who had committed suicide the year before, and her mom was just not feeling, like, it's just amazing how you get brought together with people that you need to at that moment. You don't understand why. And I'm like, oh God, okay, I'll go upstairs and have a glass of wine. And then all of a sudden you're helping an entire family heal, or, you know, you're connecting a husband who just went to the other side with his wife. And, you know, and it's just, It really is. It's all like you think it's circumstance, but it's never. It's them kind of going, hey, by the way, you got to call Sally. Don't forget that. Make sure to call her. Check in on her.
Yeah, totally. There's no, I guess, circumstances that aren't true, and I guess that has a lot to do with intuition as well. And we just had somebody on last week on the podcast talking about intuition. She's an expert at intuition and stuff like that too, so that's kind of interesting. But
Yeah.
also, want to jump to another topic, an area today that we're talking to you about, and something that you deal with, is past life regression and hypnotherapy. And we have not had that topic yet on the show.
Okay.
So, can you talk a little bit about how you use hypnotherapy, what that's all about, and maybe tell people sort of that might be scared about using that type of technique to go into past life regression? Some people that might want to try it out but aren't sure what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the whole thing with hypnotherapy is it brings you to another level because you're doing a meditation that really relaxes you and really slows your mind down. And once you slow your mind down, you could actually tap into not only like fears that you have from this lifetime, but actually fears that you'd have that you wouldn't even understand why. And they actually come from a past life story. Because obviously we keep coming back. That's what we do. And, I was perfect example of somebody who's afraid of flying. They're terrified of flying. They don't understand why. And you do a past life regression with them and realize that at one point, they fell off they died falling. So that's the biggest fear that they have. And it feels like it's not scary. Most people are afraid because it's like, oh my God, it's past life regression. It's terrifying. But it's more like a meditation. It feels like a meditation as you're going through it. And then you kind of start seeing a movie in your mind of that lifetime and who you were with. And it's a lot of the people that we come back with every time lifetime. It's a lot of the same circles of people. So, and this sounds weird, but at one time you could have been a dad, the next time you could have been a daughter. Like it's just all different. We've all been women and men, and we've all been in different lifetimes, the way back in the day. But it usually just helps you kind of see that movie, see what happens, and lets you find what didn't heal you from that moment because of the fear, because of the falling. And you realize that you're just seeing the movie, you're not actually in the movie. So you could answer your own questions and realize why you had that fear of heights. And it's all just through doing this past life regression or hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is a little bit just more into at this time, because some people don't want to know about their past lives. The hypnotherapy is more just finding out your lifetime right now. Like how do you stop, eating so much because you get anxious or nervous, or like just different things like that if you don't want to dabble into the past life. But it's the same process doing a past life and a hypnotherapy. It kind of gets you under, and you kind of realize, it could be childhood stuff when it comes to hypnotherapy, where it could be past life stuff when it's into the past life regression. But you see the movie, you kind of explain to people how it goes, and you see the movie and you kind of just walk yourself through it. But you have a partner to help you walk there without being in fear, because you're just seeing it as a life you were in, not the one you're in at the moment. So the fear goes away. And it's all about just finding what's stopping you.
And what kind of tools do you use? Do you use the old style tools? I think people kind of think when they think
No,
hypnotherapy, they see the watch thing or the wheel
the yeah,
thing,
the
and they kind of get
dangling,
scared.
yeah.
Are you going to hypnotize me? And what kind of tools do you
No,
use
no,
these days to
no.
get
You know
people?
what? Normally, if I'm doing like a deep meditation, I'll use music because I want to like really relax them and have them go to a different state. But if you're doing a past life regression or even hypnotherapy, I don't like using music because it's going to influence where we're going with your story, right? Because if there's no music, then you're going to tell me what you're seeing and what you're feeling. And if it was the Viking days, or if we had meditation music from now, it would give you a hard time to actually go to that process. So you just you slowly get into it to the point where they're laying down, and you just get into almost a deep sleep kind of feeling, and it's so relaxed that you're just willing to accept everything a lot more. Just like we were talking about, being stuck at home during COVID. We're kind of forced to like connect with ourselves because we're here. We got nothing else to do, and it's all about like getting into that zone where you could actually just breathe, that we have a problem just relaxing these days. We're always on the go, 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 right? And it's when you relax, that's why there's all these Buddhists that are on mountains, and they could go there for 3-4 hours because they're connecting with the higher source. And it's such an amazing feeling that they don't they don't want to come back sometimes, and that's it. But it also gives you your answers. And that's how you get there. It's just quieting your mind for a minute.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing to suggest to people, I think, these days, is to sit and just relax, because basically, like you said, you have no choice these days sometimes when you're sitting at home. If you're working from home, that's fine, but then you're still at home after you've done your work. So, like, what do you do for the rest of the day? A good thing to do is to relax and try to meditate and try to get some meditation in. And is that
Yeah.
something that you do with your clients as well? Do you kind of teach them how to meditate and try to
Yeah,
relax?
I teach them. I do a class where like they choose where they want to go if they're really interested in one aspect of the business. But and I also do Reiki, and Reiki's energy healing. So we were talking about your friend Sally. So obviously tonight I'm going to do a little bit of energy work on her, because she obviously needs some love and healing right now. But that's just Reiki's energy work that you also use on people. And it's funny because you can actually feel like where they're having pains and what issues are going on just through connecting and meditating again, right? So everything is just about that connection, which is crazy because that's mediumship, it's Reiki, it's hypnotherapy, it's past life regression, it's just slowing down and chilling out, which we didn't know how to do for a while until we got forced to do it this past year.
I think that's been one thing that's been happening. I know I heard a lot of talk in the mediumship and psychic field in the last couple of years about people being moved to a higher frequency. So I think this is a way of the universe sort of forcing us into that higher frequency level, especially for those that do it, but especially for just normal people that don't do it either, that aren't
Yeah.
into it, forcing them into that higher level too. But for us that are into it, we're forced even to a higher level of awareness and stuff like that. So do you find that with
So we're going to
clients?
be, yeah, we're going to be the teachers and the healings of or the healers of the people that are just opening up right now, right? So we're going to be 10 paces ahead of everybody, right? So you and I, and like even doing your podcast, you're healing and helping people because they're learning about this and they're going, wow, maybe I'm one of those people that needs to grow. I'm so interested in all of this stuff. It's like playing when you love something, right? When you're doing some kind of work that is work, you do it and you're miserable every single day. But when you're into something that you really love doing, it's just like when you're a kid and you're playing in a park and the day goes by, and that's what we're doing, is actually teaching people how to get to that next level, like through your podcast, and getting people to figure out like how much more there is out there, right? And that's something that didn't happen 20-30 years ago, but it's happening now, which is great. So yeah, it's all about just like letting those people open up, and then somehow spirit just brings them over. Like I know there's somebody that's gonna, like if you really want to teach people, they're always going to be calling and coming in. Just kind of happens the way it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, it definitely does. I believe the universe actually makes those connections for us because they're meant to happen, like you say. So, I also know that you do a lot of traveling. So, how has your traveling inspired you from living in California, like we were talking earlier, that really inspired you to start things up, and you lived in Florida, and now you're in Canada. So, how has traveling around sort of inspired you to do what you do today and make you continue working on things?
Well, like I was saying, the right people always come to you, right? The connection that you'll have with a certain person, or even you and I connecting. I used to work in my 20s. I worked at a bar with a guy who is also a medium, and we reconnected because I was in Pickering, and I'm like, oh my God, Jason is out here and he's a medium too. And so it's just, it doesn't matter where it is, it just kind of happens. Like you just connect to the right people at the right time, and they bring you to the right person. It's really bizarre. The funny thing is I travel a lot, and I've always had this weird thing about going to England, and I don't know why. I just have this weird. And I actually went last year in November, and I could feel like, oh my God, this is my home. Like I've been here before, and we went to so many castles and everything. I could feel like the energy everywhere we went, and it was just such a bizarre feeling. It's like some places you go to and you've been there and you've done that, and you're just like, okay, all right, just bring me wherever you want to bring me, And I saw things that I feel like that used to be mine, or I used to live or be around this house or be in this energy. It's always really bizarre. Like it's just like I said, spirit just connects you to whoever you're supposed to connect to. Like that weird town that I was telling you in Florida, Casadega with the haunted hotel. It's like one of those things. Like you just end up connecting to all the people that are spiritual that they're going to put you on that right path. You just have to kind of listen to your guides, and just in spirit. Some people call it spirit, angels, guides, whatever whatever you believe in is fine. But yeah, if you listen, you're brought to the right place, right time.
Yeah, definitely. That's really interesting because that's one spot that I'm drawn to as well is over in the UK. Like anything
Okay.
UK or England, I'm totally there. So it's one of my
So you've had
dream
a couple
vacation
lives
spots.
there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I must have had some past lives there as well. We do have some friends there as well that we do work with once in a while when they come over here to Canada. So that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories from
They're
when you were there?
they're super psychic over there. There's so many mediums in, I don't know why, but all from the UK. Like, it blows my mind. Um, I Let me see. Well, we went to a hotel that was haunted, but I didn't see the girl apparently that uh, fell out of a building or pushed out of a building because she wasn't the wife, she was the other woman. So there's a whole story behind it, but that's actually why we went there. I didn't I was mostly focused, I'm very much into the arts, so I'm mostly focused on going to the museums. But every time, yeah, I stepped into a castle. There was one in particular that just, when you get the chills, like the spiritual chills, your whole body's like, ooh, something. I feel like I've been here before. And even looking at everything there, it was just, there was something just about that one castle. It wasn't all of them because I went on many tours, I went to many places, but that one, yeah, it gave me the EBGBs, but the good EBGBs, like, oh, I've been here. I've been here. And, maybe another lifetime I lived there, or maybe I did a tour again. I don't know, because it's been one of those tour places for a long time, but there was something there. But that church in Montreal, that's a big one. Like, every time I go there, I get chills. There's something about, and I've kind of looked into it. And I guess when they were building that church, there's a certain area that's closed off, and a lot of men died trying to build this area. And I guess it was such a disastrous part that they never reopened it. And that's actually where that ghost came running through me. So every time I go there, I can feel, you just know, sometimes you walk into places and I'm like, ooh, I'm not comfortable here. I do not want to be here right now. And it's usually telling you, get out. You're not supposed to be there. Yeah. When you feel like something's kind of staring at you or something's there, it's time to go. Right.
Yeah, definitely. Unless they want you there for some reason and they're trying to connect with you on some level,
Exactly.
trying to send you a
Yeah.
message.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here, Liz. It's been a pleasure talking to you on Haunting Live, and thank you so much for taking time out today and telling us a little bit about your history and what you do as a psychic medium. So,
Oh, thank you so much. It was my pleasure. And I mean, if anybody wants to talk to me about learning how to do Reiki, hypnotherapy, moving to another level, even tarot cards, my website is lizannesreadings.com. So they could contact me there, and I'd be happy to do. I have actually a special for the next 2 months. It's 5 sessions, and they could learn a little bit of everything for $300. So kind of opens you up to that next level, so they could be just like us and continue to heal people.
yeah, definitely. And do you do anything along the lines of this? Do you do any videos with people on Facebook, or do you produce anything
I'm
like that?
starting a YouTube channel. I've
Okay.
just started working with it. So, and that's it's going to be Lizanne's readings as well. And then I do a lot of online right now. Obviously, we have to do face to face or FaceTime or online calls, but I do everything this way for now until we're allowed to be back out there. But yeah, so YouTube channel is the way to go for now. Yeah.
No, that sounds great. I think that's a wonderful way to connect with people and hopefully some new clients as well for you.
Yeah, great.
So thank you very much again for coming on. It's been a pleasure talking to you here today about your job and what you do for psychic and mediumship, and also other topics that we discussed today here on Haunting Live. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. You have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
Bye bye.
And clear that off as well. There we go. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to Haunting Live podcast today. And that was Lizanne Blais. She's a psychic medium and a tarot reader, and she also does a bunch of other things that we discussed today on the show, such as Reiki and hypnotherapy, something that we haven't talked about before. So that was a really interesting topic to discuss here on Haunting Live podcast, because it relates to a lot of things that we do in the field, such as past life regression and Reiki healing, stuff like that. So she's really interesting to talk to. So thank her so much for coming on to Haunting Live podcast. We have reached episode number 3 of season 2. And just want to thank her again for coming on to the show today. And hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. And thank you so much for tuning in. And just want to go over a few things here before we sign off for this episode. As usual, please go and check out our website after you check out the episode. And our website is HauntingLIVEpodcast.com. We have a bunch of different people, or a bunch of different things listed on our website for social media, including all of our Facebook postings. All of our YouTube videos are on our website. And all of our events that are coming up are also posted up on our website as well, which includes the one that's available right now for the public. Our next public event is coming up in April, in the spring. Hopefully there won't be as much COVID rules by then, but if there are, we'll definitely abide by any COVID rules that are in place for public events. There's going to be, the next public event is at the Queen's Inn, Ghost of the Queen's public event. 2021 is being hosted then on the weekend of April 16th to the 18th. So go check that out. Tickets are available. They are for $140 for the full weekend. That does not include your stay. So just go check that out under our events page. Also on our website, there's a mailing list that we'd like you guys to sign up for as well. That will get you new information on what's going on before anything gets posted up to social media. So even our website or Facebook, information will go out on the email first. So you guys get that private email first from us, like upcoming guests and upcoming events and stuff like that as well. So also on our website, we recommend you check out our merch area. We do have a store online on our website where you can get things that we use in the field, such as pendulums, crystals, cleansing materials, and promotional items for Haunting Live podcast. So we have a bunch of interesting items for sale up there on our website. Things that you can use in the field that are useful, that we feel that we use every day, and we feel that you get use of those as well. So just go check out our merch page on our website, which is HauntingLivePodcast.com/merch, and you can check out all the items on our merch store online. And also here at Haunting Live, Chris is doing weekly readings now under the Haunting Live Facebook page. He does live free readings every week, so you guys can come on and check out the readings that he does through the angels and oracle cards. And he does free readings every Wednesday at 8:30, so check that out on our Facebook page as well. So with that, we hope you guys have a great weekend, and thank you so much for tuning in, and also thank you so much for following us on social media. We really appreciate all you supporters out there that follow us each and every week. Now, we're listed on Facebook, we're also on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're also on Instagram, and we're also on a bunch of podcast apps that are out there, such as Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Google, and a bunch of other ones as well. So check that out. If you want to listen to us later on, just on audio, that's the place to go to. But if you want to check out the full video, that's going to be on our Facebook as well as our YouTube page. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And again, big thank you to Lizanne Blais for being our guest today. And we appreciate her taking time out and joining us here on Haunting Live podcast. So with that, guys, have a great weekend, and we will see you guys next week here for the next episode. Have a great weekend.
Did you hear that?
Thanks for watching. And of course, subscribe.